So I'm going to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes. This game is my second favorite fighting game, besides its prequel, which I already did a video on. But this game, the tag team style 2D sprites with 3D backgrounds and visual effects really complement each other, and they go well together. It makes the 2D sprites make it pop, and then the 3D backgrounds and visual effects add to the dimension of it. It really, when you put it on like a modern display, it looks remarkable. It aged really well. It's a beautiful video game. The roster is insane. 56 playable characters, which is insane for 2000. That they got the licensing to use all of this it blows my mind. It really does. It blows my mind. So you get 24 characters to start, and then you use the shop. Like as you play the game, the arcade style, going through beating people, and then you'll die at some point. You'll lose, game over at some point, and then you'll go and play again and again, and you accumulate credits, and you can go into the shop and purchase characters, and then you'll end up with 32 more characters on top of the 24. And there are iconic characters. Iconic. Like some that you would be surprised that are even in there. And it really makes me feel super happy to be able to be at this point, by sailing the high seas, getting this game on modern devices, on an OLED display, on an Anbernic device, and have it be able to be played portable and in a really good quality, instead of, for the longest time I had to play it on my Sega Dreamcast, and that's fine, but that's the only reason that I would have that hooked up, was to play that game. And it's like, yeah, that can now be kind of put away and set in storage for the future, and I can pull it out when people come over and we want to play, a 2D Gauntlet Legends, or a two-player, multiplayer, not 2D, but multiplayer Gauntlet Legends, or NFL Blitz, and we can play that and pull it out and set it up, but it doesn't have to be constantly set up. It can be away, because I have an issue with like clutter and having things out, and it's like, if it only has one purpose and that's the purpose and it's always out, it's like, it's good to be able to have this game in other form factors and play it modernly. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes was one of the first fighting games that I beat, because I had this love-hate relationship with fighting games. I grew up and I would dabble in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but these games really got me mad because I sucked. And it's like, yeah, of course you're gonna get mad when you suck, but I didn't really understand that you need to put time and effort into it to be better at it, to get better. Like I played Tekken 3 when I was a kid, and it's like I would just get spanked, and I would do whatever, but I was also button mashing. And I had one of my earliest memories at my cousin's house and my uncle and aunt's house is they had a Sega Genesis with Street Fighter 2 on it and Mortal Kombat 3 back in the 90s, and those games I played a lot, but I just stunk, and I'd get mad. But it's like, at some point, something clicked where it's like, this game, these fighting games, they're beautiful, deep, mechanically sound, and skill-based games. And so I started really focusing on trying to beat some of them, and this is the first one that I went to. I was like, this game, because everybody talks about how amazing it is, and so it was like, well, as soon as I can get my hands on it. So Dreamcast, boom, put it on. Played, took me a couple weeks, and actually recording gameplay footage for this, I made it to the final boss, which is really interesting to see how far I've came. because the mechanics in this game are difficult to understand. It's easy to pick up and play and kind of get a general idea, but there's depth and nuance to this game that isn't really easily explained. Like, when you have 6 characters against each other, so 3 and 3 against each other, and you can swap them out relatively at any time, and then they add in the hyper combos mixed with, you can do, like, depending on what level of meter you're at, like 1, 2, 3, or super or whatever, you can get all of your characters out on screen blasting away. And depending on what character you have, some of them shoot like beam attacks, and the other ones do like fighting up close. So like depending on the setup that you have, the 3 characters that you selected, the moves are different. So it's just super deep, and it blew me away to be able to learn 3 separate characters while fighting at once. And I know King of Fighters had done that and still currently does that. I just hadn't got to those games. And it happens that Garo is actually my favorite, and that's just a single. You just choose your single character. But like King of Fighters 13, you know you get 3, and it's 3 and 3. I just was new to fighting games, and having to pick 3 and understand their mechanics and their special moves and their movement across the screen and their speed mixed with their like individual nuance, the nuance to each individual character. It's an overwhelming experience when you're first starting out, but it was really good to have that game be one of my first that I really tried to get in and unlock the characters, and because I enjoyed the RPG element to it of being able to unlock the characters. Not that they get better like a role-playing aspect, but it's more of, it has a shop that you unlock with your experience, so there is experience there, and it just really allowed me to get lost in that game and come out the other end with a deep appreciation for fighting games and for superheroes and for licensed video game crossovers. Like, it really changed my perception of fighting video games. So anyways, the stages in this game are great. They're 3D rendered. They're beautiful stages. Some of them I don't know where they came from. Like, I don't know. It's like in the first game, Clash of Superheroes, you recognize, if you followed Marvel and Capcom, you recognize these stages, the Mega Man, and like you know the soundtracks when you hear them. This game, it's not really like that. It doesn't seem like it's licensed music and licensed stages. There are a couple that you would recognize, but overall, it just seems kind of random that they're just like there. And so like I don't necessarily feel that the stages in the soundtrack are as good as the first game. But that doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that, my personal opinion, I enjoy the first one better. But this game has aged like a fine wine. It's beautiful. It sounds great. It's not super annoying. Like, I'm going to take you for a ride. Yeah, if you sit there and listen to that for 10 minutes, obviously it's annoying. But like, some video games where you play them over and over, it's like, man, I can't take these people anymore. They're just talking the same stuff over and over. But that, that's what most fighting games, that they say the stuff over and over, but it's enduring and it's enjoyable. That's how I really feel about it. So, yeah. I'm trying to forget what I wrote here. I can't even read that. Fast-paced. Fast-paced. This game is fast-paced. It's not so much as the first one, but once you get back towards the end of the game, when they start getting really, really good, it's very difficult. So, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, amazing game. I prefer the first one, but they're both beautiful, amazing. I love them. Thanks for tuning in.
You lose. You got that killer instinct. You lose. Don't you want a rematch? Don't give up. Challenge again.